Right. So this is all about the three modules we have, especially on Guidewire. Of course, apart from these modules, we have any other also few other modules for there, which I'm going to explain that in later days. In today's session, I'm going to explain you about what extent Guidewire is being used in the industry in context to the insurance industry from the context of P&C insurance.
Okay.
Because as we are aware of an insurance industry, which I am not going into detailed part, either it can be life, it can be annuity, it can be vehicle insurance, it can be marine insurance, right? So there are a lot of services will be provided by the insurance companies. Volume of the services which they will be providing from organization to organization, as well as the client base may vary from country to country, that is different. But to manage any services within their organization, any insurance company, I mean to say, they must require some applications to manage their business activities and transactions. You know that.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So if you want to manage your customer data, right? So or if you want to manage your policy records, or if you want to send any notifications to your customers, or if you want to perform any billing or broker commissioning, right? So commissioning for agents. At the same time, if you want to provide any claims, claims processing. So there are some applications we require to use.
Okay.
From very long time. This is the history which I was saying it from the beginning. Okay, do remember. From the what was earlier, that's what I'm explaining now. What is that today? I'm going to explain it later. So what earlier was, even now we can see there were many applications using by the insurance industries sector, irrespective of the organizations they were. And many applications were old legacy applications, old legacy application they were using. So normally when they use applications, there is no no assurance that all the services whatever required will be under one application. There is no guarantee for that. Some services, for example, if you want to manage your policy administration system might be using another application. Maybe for billing and claims and all everything can be used by other applications. That was the situation by any insurance company.
Yeah.
So if you see for last 5-6 years closely, not before, but last 6-7 years, if you see closely, there is a lot of volatility in context to the expectation of the requirements were changed a lot.
Yeah.
Understood, right? Lot of requirement in context to the requirements were changed. In this regard, so whenever we are working on these applications, whenever we are trying to understand the requirements from the organizational point of view, so they used to make some changes in the existing system, what they were using. That's how the situation for last 6-7 years we could see. There are dynamic changes which organization wants to make out of it. In this regard, organization wants to upgrade their systems to the next level.
Right. Yeah.
It can be due to the business rules, or it can be due to the government mandates, or whatsoever reason. So it can be of any other reason. Organizations are planning towards migrating to the new applications. Because the major challenge here is that old legacy systems have a limited possibility to expand itself, because they don't have much possibility to expand their services. Flexibility. I'm talking about the flexibility, scalability will be very less.
Correct.
Because you don't have that facility to flexibly to scalable according to our business needs and all. That don't be, we don't see that in the legacy systems. In that regard, many organizations, what they were doing, many organizations are planning to move to a new application. I'm not specifying this as a Guidewire, but I'm just generalizing this point. Right. So organizations are planning to move to the new applications. So whenever they are moving this to the new applications and all, they want some kind of applications now and then, which must be a cloud-enabled application.
Okay.
So why cloud-enabled application? If you remember some time back, I told you volatility and requirements are more now and then. There are a lot of changes happens. So every time they have to make some changes in the requirements. There could be a possibility in context to the infrastructural challenges might be taken place.
Correct.
So a lot of investment is required in context to the infrastructure of investment, what they want to make. Second, manpower, cost, everything will be in the higher level.
Yeah, maintenance issues.
So hence organizations are planning to move the cloud environment. The advantage in cloud environment, whatever the services, either it can be an infrastructure services, or it can be a platform services, or it can be a software service. So whichever the services required and all, everything will be taken care of by the cloud service providers. That was the advantage.
Correct.
For example, you want some infrastructure to be built for your application or for your organization. Infrastructure services will be taken care of by the cloud service provider.
Yeah, they don't need to bother about that. Everything will be taken care by them, and at least these people can concentrate on other things.
Absolutely right. So they don't need to focus more on the infrastructure part.
Correct.
They'll be focusing on the application point of
business and other things.
Yeah, that is point number one. Second, platform services. Cloud applications has an advantage where platform dependency means if you want to develop any application, you require some platform to be built. So even platform services will also be provided by the cloud service providers. Third is software as a service. This is where generally this Guidewire application come into picture. Software services means whatever the required software you want to provide, that software can be provided by that respective cloud service provider. Advantage, you don't require to build any application from the scratch. Because building an application from the scratch is an expensive affair. It's not it is not something which happens overnight. Point number one. Means limited time. I mean to say that.
Yeah.
Even investment cost. For example, if someone wants to provide you the services exclusive for you, the cost will be very higher. You know that. Right? It will be very higher. So then what they have to do, they need to identify some people who can provide the services which is already ready-made solutions. It's very simple for you to understand. We can go to the shopping. We have two options. You can buy a cloth. I'm giving the generalized example so that you can understand well. You can go to the shop where you have two options. One, you can buy a cloth, stitch the dress according to your measurements. Point number one. Point number two, you can go to a ready-made store, take the ready-made cloths, ready-made dress, and you can wear it. Right? So two options. What is advantage here in the ready-made? Because whatever the sizes of the trousers or shirts and all, everything readily available. Maybe if there is any kind of alteration is required in context to the minor alterations and all, everything will be taken care of by the person who is selling the products to you, right? So dress to you. But whereas when it comes to the cloth you have bought, you have to stitch according to your measurements. Means whatever the requirements are we talking about, whatever the dress you are manufacturing, whatever the dresses we are manufacturing and all everything. So manufacturing has to be done only for you. Okay.
Right.
So the time will be more, cost will also be made higher level. Because they are providing services only for you, not for others.
Right.
So major problem now and then organizations are facing is this due to the volatility in requirements, because there are a lot of changes in requirements were taking place. That's the reason why many of the organizations are planning to hire a cloud service provider based applications so that if there is any kind of changes happens and all, they can take it. For example, you are into insurance company where you want some policy management application or a module, I can say. So you can take up one module relating to policy center. You don't require to take billing and claims and any other modules. You don't need it.
Yeah.
And if there is any changes required in the exclusive in the policy center, you can do it. There is no problem in it. So these are the major advantages, especially insurance companies are facing nowadays. Earlier, it was different. Earlier, because that was so tightly coupled. It's not something like loosely coupled, but nowadays the situation is completely changed. So organizations wants to have some flexible applications in such a way, if there is any kind of changes required in future, or whatever the customized modules they wants to use for a, I don't say with a less cost, but a competitive cost they can buy. That's the reason why most of the applications are moving towards new applications. Okay, either it can be Guidewire, it can be Duck Creek, or it can be of any other application or any other product.
Yeah.
Now, next question you can ask me then, Raj, why people are moving towards Guidewire, right? What was the advantage, especially in Guideware? Especially in Guideware, the advantage was many. Point number one, it's a cloud application. It's a cloud application. You don't require any kind of installation to be made for that. Because if you are a user, if you want to use application, being a user, you can use the cloud services. Using the cloud services and all everything, using the cloud services and all, so you can use the application because there won't be any infrastructural cost or something like was added into that. You don't require any infrastructure. Whatever the services you are using, you are paying only for that. That is an advantage. Advantage number one. The second advantage for especially for Guideware is that Guideware, whatever the modules are we talking about, either it can be a policy center or it can be a billing or it can be claims and all. Any one module can be taken by you, being an insurance provider. Okay, you don't require to buy all the three modules. Either if you want, for example, you are using separate applications for claim management system for a very long time, which you are not interested to make any changes in that. At the same time, for billing, you don't require to make any changes in the billing because you are using your own traditional legacy application for a long time. And there is lot of changes happens in the policy center. That's the reason why if you see major responsibility, especially in context to the configuration of a business analyst, whatever we do, happens majorly in the policy center, not in billing and claims. That's the reason why most of the people will prefer Guideware Policy Center BA, not billing and claims. The percentage is less. I don't say no, the percentage is less.
Exactly.
Because billing and claims, you don't see much changes in that. For example, if there is any claim processing, whatever the processing of claim adjudications, at the same time claim settlements and payments, the process remains same for any organization.
Exactly.
How much time are they taking between that, right? So that may be varied, right? So because some people may be taking 90 days of time, some people may be taking 30 days, some people might be taking 45 days or 60 days, right? So that varies, that can be. But end of the day, whatever the process they follow in context to the claims and all, everything will be as common as it is. At the same time, it is applied even for billing also. Billing, because billing also the same process. You don't require to make any kind of changes in the billing part.
Correct. Accounting part. Yeah.
You don't need it any kind of changes because the billing process is all, everything was same for everyone. But major problem, I don't say major problem, but if there is any kind of changes to be made, especially on the commissioning part, there is a change. Whatever the insurance commissioning you are paying for your agents. Okay. So that commission percentage may vary, right? So for example, you are giving 12% now, right? So some other company may be giving 13, right? So somebody may be giving 11. I'm giving you the rough figure. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it may vary, right? So that sort of changes may be there. At the same time, commissioning structure means, let's say, for example, some companies, some organizations wants to provide services, commissioning and all everything right from the first product itself. They do that. But some companies, you see, some companies don't do that. Some companies have some period, right? So from there onwards, commissioning will start. So there are changes. Depends on the business rules, depends on the business strategy, also depends on their business rules and regulations and all. Whatever the commissioning structure and all, everything will be varied. So if there is any kind of effect in context to the changes to be made, especially on billing happens here in this level. But major problem, I don't say major problem, but major changes happens in the policy center side.
Yeah.
So why is it policy center? Because when it comes to the policy center, the major changes happens here. For example, your organization issue insurance policies to the customers who has taken the insurance plan. At the same time, you are sending some hard copy as well as a digital copy of the policy document to the customers. At the same time, when it is required and all, you will be sending some annual reminders to them. Some reminders you are sending to them. This is all something you will be doing.
Okay. So
In
how
this
about
regard, what is important?
Sorry to interrupt. How about underwriting, rules and regulations where we are going to configure? Is it into policy center or
Underwriting
any
rules and regulations may also be varied from organization to organization, right? That also will be
correct.
happening.
Okay, that also
Because
will
underwriting,
be policy center only,
yes,
right?
yes,
Okay.
yes. Because underwriting issues will also be there.
Okay.
Because you may be required to make some changes in the underwriting process by assessing the risk, etc. All that, right? So how to assess the risk? What are the factors to be taken into consideration, right? So everything we have to be known with.
Okay.
So these are the changes which normally happens majorly in the policy center. This is the reason why many organizations are moving towards Guidewire because of this reason. First point reason is whatever the projects are we talking about the modules. Of course, we have other modules also. We have any other modules also. We have modules like contact manager, data hub, info center, predictive analytics, rating, reinsurance. We have lot many. Okay. But I'm just naming, I'm specifying few which are normally and prominently used today, nowadays. So majorly if changes happens in the policy center side. Okay. Major changes happens in the policy center. Because depends on the services they are providing, the kind of services they use, the type of services they are giving for a particular customer, or maybe because these services you can operate across globe. Okay. But as far as the organization, as far as the rules and regulations are concerned, we must be abide with the rules and regulations of the respective country. For example, when you talk about marine insurance, normally marine insurances, if you see marine insurances, we can classify into two different parts. The first kind of insurance, which normally will be done, even majorly marine insurances and all everything will be classified into two. One is you can give this for the goods, whatever we have, that's what generally we call it as cargo insurance. Means what are the products a cargo ship is carrying across continents and countries for the transportation purpose. Even insurances happens for the cargo. Right. So because if there is any kind of theft or damage, right? So or else loss of goods happen due to the natural calamity. So insurance happen for cargo. Point number one. Point number two, hull insurance, we call it as. Hull insurance means insurance will be done for the deck or for the cargo ship, right? So if there is any damage for the physical damage happens for a ship or vessel and all, that is what comes under hull insurance. Understood, right?
Hull insurance, HAL, right?
HULL. Hull. We call it as hull insurance. Hull insurance means this is an insurance we do. This is an insurance cargo owners or people will do. This is for the physical damage of the ship. I don't say ship, physical damage of a cargo ship or vessels, right? So if there is any physical damages and all, either it can be machinery or equipment, or if there is any kind of other parts do we have and all. So for that, generally hull insurance will comes into picture. But when it comes to the cargo insurance is majorly focusing on loss or damage of goods, theft, fire, right? So accident, right? So or it can be of damage of soil, whatever the reason it can be, right? So this is, but when it comes to the insurance liability or insurance claims, acceptance and rejections falls under the different rules and regulations of a respective country also. For example, there was an incident happened and due to the natural calamity, goods got damaged, right? So sometimes, I'm not saying all the conditions, sometimes it depends on the incident where it was happened. Because international waters are different, country waters are different. You know that, right? Because if you calculate from a seashore, from there, whatever the nautical miles you calculate in the nautical miles and all. So nautical miles will comes under the country waters. After the country waters, it comes under the international waters. International waters. So where the incident happened is the priority here, right? So
Mm.
especially I'm talking about, I'm giving an example from the marine point of view, okay? Marine insurance point of view, not air. Air insurance also comes under marine only.
Mm.
But I'm giving you the example from the cargo point of view.
Yeah.
So there are changes required. There are some changes which majorly required in the policy center front, not from the billing and claims all the time.
Yeah.
So there are major changes they require to make in the policy center point of view. For that, they require some person who should understand the respective domain. For that reason, organizations required a business analyst who should understand the requirements of the existing organization business rules and government mandates.
Mm.
Suggesting subsequent changes in the existing application is what something being a BA you do. Understand, right?
Mm.
So whatever the roles and responsibilities, whatever the skill set being a BA you must be having and all everything, that is quite common. Anyway, that you know, being a business analyst, you know that well in advance, right? You know that. But in addition to that, what is that you require? You must be knowing about how the policy configurations will be taken place. What are the steps to be taken to make some configuration in the policy center? So
Correct.
for that, how you need to gather the requirements, right? So how you have to make some changes in that. And what are the different steps to be followed to do it? Because for example, developer wants to write a code for a particular business logic using a programming language, either it can be Java or a Gosu programming language. There must be some instructions should be given by the business analyst where business analyst should have a knowledge over that.
Yeah.
Understood? Clear, Mother? Right? So this is where generally many organizations now and then required a business analyst, especially on policy center. I can say either it can be billing or claims either, right? No problem either. So they required a business analyst who should understand the requirements and suggest subsequent changes to the development team followed by the testing team so that they do the changes accordingly. This is what generally the role of a BA, especially from the Guidewire point of view, policy center point of view, is what something we do.
Yeah.
Is it clear to you, Mother?
Yeah.
Understood?
Yeah, it's clear.
Right. So this is what generally the overall understanding about what exactly business analyst from the context of policy center, from the Guidewire point of view, is what something we do. And what are the roles and responsibilities that I'm going to discuss tomorrow, right? So what are your responsibilities required to handle, right? So what are your roles and responsibilities that are all that I'm going to explain you in tomorrow session.
Sure. Yeah.
Clear, Mother?
Yeah, I got it.
Any questions? Please go ahead.
As of now, no questions. It's clear for me.
Okay. We'll discuss tomorrow.
Definitely.
About the response. First, you must be knowing about the roles and responsibilities first. Then I'll be discussing about the other options.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. And
right,
one more,
Mother?
so when we wanted to make any changes or when we wanted to, give some suggestions to our developer, we should be in a position to know the out of the box functionalities of Guidewire, right? Then only we can able to
absolutely true.
Yeah,
true. Because you need to know the ground depth reality is what something you required.
Yeah.
Unless until if you don't have a knowledge, you cannot suggest the changes.
Exactly.
If you want to suggest the changes, first of all, you must be knowing about where exactly the existing process is.
Correct.
You should know the process. Then what kind of changes to be made and how intense the changes were. Either it can be a minor change or a major change, you will be knowing well in advance later.
Yeah.
So when will it happen? When you understand the existing process of the functionality well in advance. That's the reason why domain knowledge from the property and casualty insurance is always advisable for a person who is working as a BA. Of course, fortunate enough you are coming from insurance segment. That's a different thing. But in general, I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly.
So that it will be more effective, so that you can understand the requirements and intensity of the problem well in advance.
Correct. Even terminology also, it's very easy to understand.
Absolutely. Because see, in domain to domain terminologies and jargons, what we use and all everything will be of different, right? And when you are interacting with your customer use the same terminology as what they use it. Correct. So as a business analyst, first you should understand the jargons and terminologies, and so that you will be knowing about the intensity of it.
Exactly. Yeah.
That was the point. Okay.
And one more thing, Raj. So whenever we do the configuration of something, so as a BA we can do it, or no, we always suggest to the
Configuration steps you must be knowing, because that's the reason why technical knowledge is always preferable. That's what I said in the beginning. If I'm not wrong, I think whenever we discussed in the beginning, I told you, you need to have some technical knowledge also.
Okay.
Because earlier the roles were completely functional, Mother.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays it's not, right? You must be having some technical knowledge even.
Yeah,
That's where generally, why? Because majorly the work happens in the configuration side. You must be knowing about the configuration steps. You must be in a position to understand about XML, JSON files. Right? So you must be knowing about the process of data migration. So these sort of things, APIs. API is not required. API is required for integration, not for the configuration part.
Okay.
But technicalities is required. That's what something we are learning in coming days.
Okay.
Technical skills important, Madan, because earlier situations were different. Now you must be good enough. At least I don't say you must be expertise or hands-on, etc. But you need to have a knowledge, technically speaking.
Okay. Okay.
It is becoming mandatory now, so we must be ready to do that.
Yeah. Okay. Got it, Raj.
Right. So that anyway, that will be a part of it, because fortunate enough, whatever the tools we use and all, everything were open source. Right. So because to write XML files or something like these are some open source tools we have now and then. So we don't see any problem in that.
Okay.
But technical knowledge is becoming inevitable for a BA nowadays.
Nowadays, because
Mark my words. Yes.
yeah, exactly. Because most of the companies are expecting a techno-functional BA.
Yes,
not
yes.
functional
See,
Excel.
that's it. Functional BA roles, those days have gone.
Gone. Yeah.
Now, techno-functional. You must be good at functional skills. Good. But at the same time, equivalently, you must be having some technical knowledge.
Technical knowledge. Yes.
Yeah, jargons, because you have to instruct your development team to do that. So you must be having that.
Correct. Yeah.
Multiple functional skills, multiple skills are required for a BA now. It was not like olden days.
Yeah, exactly.
Now perceptions were changed a lot.
Perception, expectations
course,
also
anyway,
got changed for all the organizations.
Yes,
now.
yes. Expectations, perceptions, and all, everything were changed. So that anyway, that I'm going to discuss in coming days.
Sure. Yeah, got it.
Right, brother. See you then. Bye.
Thank you so much. Yeah, bye.
Thank you.